Hi guys, what's going on? This is Namkraft and welcome to yet another series of Starcraft English commentary. We're going to be checking out the situation in DPL series. This is part of my series of games that are guaranteed to be epic. These games have been handpicked by me and you don't need to do anything else except to watch them because they're going to be freaking goddamn amazing. A word of advice, you probably need some popcorn, so get those right now and kick your wife and kids out, lock the door, and take a dump while you're at it because this game is gonna be long. Maybe you need to take about 3 or 4 dumps. Very nice ahead of us here, nice fight. This is gonna be played between Snow and Jaedong. And the map is Metropolis. You can already see the map at the bottom left of the screen. We are seeing Snow spawning at the bottom right corner of the screen. I forget to mention the game name is Starcraft Remastered Broodwar. In case you're wondering, nobody cares about this game except for the very old people, the 40-year-old virgins that we all are. So I'm not gonna give any introductions about that. Yeah, so what's happening in the Starcraft world these days? Not much at all. We've had Flash who announced that he might not be playing in the upcoming season of ASL. Most likely than not, he will not play. We've had some people who are, part of the university scene who has logged onto some betting sites. So some shady business going on. And recently, if you look at the ELO scores, best out of everybody is topping the ELO scores. Let me just quickly show you. I have it for you right here. Yes, I do. There it is. Best is number 1 at 1410, and next is Flash, next is Sharp. Out of all people. Anyways, yeah, this is gonna be a very nice fight, and let us just quickly check what we have for these players. As you can see, it is going to be played between Snow and Jaedong. Snow is at 1384, Jaedong is 1311. Those are the ELO scores. And maybe have the win rate. Let's quickly check. No, that's not. Okay, it's not the win rate. I don't have the win rate, guys. Wait, maybe I have. Yeah, I do have the win rate. This is the win rate. So in the last 30 days, Snow against Zerg is 53% and Soki against Protoss is 54%. So very balanced results here. And this is going to be a rematch of that ASL. What is it? Semis, right? Where Snow has lost to Soki in a 4-3, 3-2 rather defeat, and that was a very nice game. But recently Soki has not been doing so well in the pro leagues, and I think that's very normal of Soki. He doesn't really care about these kind of really boring, mundane, inconsequential, insignificant games. He only have his eyes on the prize. Anyways, looks like we're going to be having a Zelle coming out. These spawning positions, it's going to give Jaedong... What am I saying? Not Soki, Jaedong. Jaedong is going to have a chance to cover a lot of bases here because the distance for Snow to come out to apply a bit of pressure is going to be very long. The Zealot gets trapped by Snow. He's going to get pushed back here, and that's going to be slightly unfortunate. Very nice, and as you can see, that weak Zergling is going to be hiding out, but it gets sniped at the last minute, so this fight is going to end here. Wow. Snow is allowed to take, a lot more hits than he really should be allowed to take. He takes up yet another Zergling. It's very nice. And this probe is still checking out for decision. We don't have any additional tech yet. The probe is going to check. He sees 2 more Zerling. Do he see more? He sees more. At the last minute, Jaedong was forced to reveal the remaining Zerglings, and that was a signal, I think, for Snow to send the rest of his Zealots back. This other Zealot is going to be hiding here, just trying out for the last time to destroy some Zerglings. Very nice to pull that weak Zergling back from Jaedong. So this is going to be the end of this attack. We're looking at the 4th minute and 20 seconds of the game. The game has just got started. Snow with 28 seconds. This probe trying to go inside the base to check, and it's going to be a layer first build. Very standard on Metropolis. I think that mutualists do much better than hygialists because you have these riches right here that the mutualists can exploit. They can even go inside. They can even come around these areas and start to snipe some high templars as they spawn. But on the other hand, with these spawning positions, the fort is not yet covered. So it's actually a lot better to do a Hydralisk bust on if Snow has spawned, for example, at the top right or some of the some other locations on this map. Anyhow, what is happening here? Looks like there's going to be a spire taken very early. Yeah, very nice timing of the spire. And of course, now Snow, his only job is to sit at home and do nothing. Of course, as a Protoss player, if you are somehow able to scout this spire and the Zerg player sticks to it, the ultimate, the appropriate respawn is going to be going for double Stargate. We've not had too many double Stargates. Recently, I have not yet seen. It would be nice to see some double Stargating business in this game. And let us just quickly check the overlord locations. One is here at the potential 6th base. The other one is moving towards the top right corner of the screen. So I think all in all, it's fairly easy, I think, for Snow to try to find those overlords if he looks hard. But this fast spire is going to be a bit of a problem, and the fact that it's all the way out here means that the Corsairs will take a long way to discover it. Alright, we're going to be having, what is it, five hatcheries coming up? So I think what exactly is Jaedong doing with this build is that he is going to be just making a couple of Scourges and then transition immediately into Hydras. And possibly make a lot more, drones. We are seeing the second cannon coming out from Snow as a typical investment. If you don't know exactly what a Zerg player is up to, and he's going to be going for core +1 air upgrade. Interesting, and that hatchery being damaged, I'm not so sure how much that would change the course of the game. Another hatchery goes down, so this is going to be a 5 hatchery. I think that was an evolution chamber, or is it a hydrant over here? This building right here, could not tell what that was, but it could be another hatchery. Okay, we are seeing some Scourges now, and immediately we have some Sunkens going out because around this time we might have very fast Zealot push, or I guess not fast in terms of the Zealot leg speed, but just fast. Okay, how many hatcheries? It is going to be a 6 hatch builds. 3 from the 3rd base, 2 from the expansion, and another 1 from the main. We're going to be having the Scourges just looking for openings, but around this time, the Corsairs are nicely hidden, and maybe Snow would pull the infamous Corsair maneuver, where he goes out and looks like the Scourges try to find the second Stargate, not able to see it. So they're gonna start to back up because behind is Jaedong has started to amass mutuals. This is interesting. He goes for massive hatcheries, and then immediately he switched back into Stargate. Into mutuals. It's gonna be a small engagement here. I'm not so sure exactly where the Scourges are. They're coming all the way from the back. They're out of position. The Course is doing good damage, but they're only about 5, and they need to attack correctly here to get one Scourge, and the other Scourge was not able to be enough to snipe the Courses. So we still have 5 Courses. We might have more Courses coming from the back. We're just gonna try to reinforce here. The Scourges arrive, and the Courses have a misclick. Looks like Snow is trying very hard to do his maneuver, and he gets those maneuver. He gets the Scourge snipes. So that's not very good. That's going to be the moment, I think, for backup now. The rest of the Scourges have been made, and maybe Snow would try to snipe that hatchery. I think he's able to get it. Yeah, sure, he will get it at the expense of about 3 or 4 Zealot. Excuse me. So that was interesting. Immediately we have a replacement hatchery coming down. This Corsair, does it live? Yes, it does. And massive Corsair now. I think about 6, that's right. With the +1. They're going to be very strong. And we are seeing Jaedong coming from the back, trying to go for some kind of sniping business, or maybe some harassments on the probe line. There are 2 cannons at that area, so it's going to be very nice to cover. There is a second Stargate. What am I saying? There is a second Stargate. So this is a double Stargate build that I've completely missed, guys. Sorry, as very typical. I'm not a good player, nor am I a good observer in Starcraft, but I'm a good enjoyer of this game. I enjoy this fight a lot. Do you? Some Zealots coupled with Corsairs coming out. It's going to be a small engagement, and he looks like Snow is going to be losing 1 Corsair, but he still has enough to attack. We need to have Hydras. We don't have any signs of Hydras at all. At the last minute, all of the mutuals have been sniped, and now we have the first signs of Hydras. But there are only 3 Zealots, so maybe the Hydras will be able to take them out. But for now, we do get the first, the first 2 overlords that are spawning at the expansions destroyed. Jaedong is supply blocked. There's gonna be more attack, and of course Jaedong, Snow is more willing than not to lose a couple of Corsairs to take out 5 or 6 overlords, and then immediately retreat, and that has sent Jaedong back to the Stone Ages in terms of the supply lead here. He's got 70 units, but he's got only 30 supply. There's going to be a way for Jaedong to snipe more courses, but not able to do so. Snow is leading by about only about 20 supply, not so high. His tech, of course, is delayed because keep in mind, if you're going to be going for this build, your Templar Archive is late, your upgrades will be slightly later. Now we're going to be having the Great Gateway Explosion, with the fact that Snow has got complete air dominance, means that he doesn't have to worry about Overlords coming out and checking out his Dark Templar. Looks like Overlord speed completes. It's just the right moment, and it's going to be the moment for Jaedong to start to assert a bit of pressure. Jaedong is checking for the presence of any kind of probes or pylons. At the third base, I think he's got a Zerling there, so he knows that right now Snow is sticking exactly on 3 bases. It's very, very smart that Jaedong is able to keep his 3 damaged mutualists still alive. You need those mutas because at some point in the later part of the game, you will need them, and they will regenerate their health, which is very interesting. We've seen in a lot of instances where the Zerg player uses mutualists to scout in the same way that the Protoss player uses the Corsair to go and scout. It's usually we just see the mutualists being used as an attacking unit. But this is going to be an interesting strategy anyways. The number, of course, is very, very high, but it's going to be the moment, I think, for Snow to start to think about these Overlords. You need to actually find them in the various places and take them out. We're looking at the 11-minute and 30th second of the game, and Snow is leading by about 25 to 30 supply. It's a rather large lead, but he needs to take another base now. We are seeing expansion going up. Let's see if he's going to be able to hold it, because massive Hydras are going to be coming out here. The only thing that Snow has got are some Zealot. I think he's got about 2 Hydras sitting at home, but not able to use them effectively. And he's got some data. But anyways, very nice. Like I tell you, these mutualists, they're still alive. And this is going to be creating a lot of problems. And those those cannons were cancelled right away. Very, very smart and efficient use of a very low number of units. Anyways, there's going to be a small engagement there. Dark Templar is going to be hiding in the back as a Zealot. Take the pressure. There are some Overlords hiding here. Looks like Snow is not able to find them. He will find them now. He will get them, all of them. He's got to be very careful. There's a lot of Scourges. There's a lot of Hydras, but he gets... How many Overlords he gets? Like 4 Overlords. He will get more. And the Dark Templar comes forward to attack. On the other side of the map, looks like this base was forced to get cancelled. We had a slight base rate here. Jaedong is temporarily supply block. Snow is killing out a lot of forces. The Dark Templar is going to come in. But at the last minute, I think the SimCity is way too good. It's going to be an attack on this base. And I think the number of courses are thinned out largely, though. So Snow is going to be super careful with the fact that he has lost his expansion. Is going to change the fate of the battles here. If his expansion was intact during this time, he would definitely have a lead, but now he's back to just 2 bases. I guess he didn't lose much because he was just cancelling 2 cannons and possibly just cancelling a Nexus and lost a pylon. That's it. Anyways, looks like Jaedong is very content with the result, even though he's behind about 40 supply. He's got the first lurkers out now. And as for Snow, he's got Dragoons. I think Dragoon range should be done, or if not done already, that Dachshund could come back and bite Jaedong later. Anyways, yeah, things are going to be looking very interesting. Looks like Snow is going to try to bust this high ground. It's going to be very tough. He's looking forward to snipe, attack some Hydras, and there was a bad retreat by the Hydra. So Snow is going to finally come up here and take this place. The Lurkers are going to be available. And those 3 mutualists are still alive. Like I tell you, they are so annoying. And there's going to be the hatcheries at the bottom left coming up kind of secretly. Let's see if Snow's going to be able to scout it. For the timing, 664 supply for Snow, 119 for Jaedong. And Jaedong is, of course, still... I think Jaedong is not doing so bad. And Snow is almost mined out of his main base. Keep that in mind. Jaedong is going to start to transfer probes towards a new base. So Jaedong has got 4 bases. And what can Snow do about it? So we shall see some big fights ahead of us, and I think for Jaedong, I think his next goal should also start to think about the tech tree. At some point, go for more efficient chamber, go for queens and so forth. For now, he's fixated on defending the bottom left. This is the right ideas as well, because that's a fresh brand new base. More drones can be transferred, and he's moving a lot of the forces. I think the choke is way too small for Snow to bust. Anyways, we have a Dart Templar finally coming out and finally able to die. 182 supply for Snow. Jaedong 135. We have not had any battles in the last 5 minutes. These guys are just gearing up for the next epic attack here. 7 Corsairs are still healthy, flying around, excuse me, looking for Overlords to snipe, but still, oh my god, look at how much force. How much force does Snow have? He has a ridiculously large amount of forces gonna come out now, and you need to, bring some fights to the Zerg side. Where exactly would it pick to be the battle scene here? Would it be the bottom left base? Or would it be this choke right in the middle, attacking right into the neck of the Zerg player? We're gonna be having a fourth base coming up from Snow. And immediately, I think Jaedong scouts, I think with some Scourges or some Muters. I don't know what exactly those units are. They're definitely not Zerglings. So we shall see. But behind the Snow is going to try to cover these areas. And the Muters are not in those locations. So they would just stick out and hang out at the bottom left side of the map. Looks like Snow has got a lot of forces. Look at this, man. Huge amount of forces coming through, and there's gonna be some Hydras trying to bust the top right, but they get caught with their pants down, and now they are in full retreat. What are these guys? I think they are just Hydras in the middle of the map looking to snipe some forces, but they will get destroyed, or at least get pushed back. And indeed, another High Templar is gonna get sniped. Nicely done by Jaedong to just trade a couple of Hydras for a High Templar full of energy. The Corsairs are looking for any kind of lurker drop. They're not able to see any of those things, and probes are hiding. Not exactly why Snow is sending probes prematurely, but okay, that works. Alright, both of the sides are just juggling for position, setting themselves up for big battles ahead. And we're seeing some movement in the middle of the map here. Looks like Snow has decided he's got enough coverage on the top right. He will start to engage. Some Hydras trying to come out and meet them in the middle. And we shall see the results of that battle soon. For the timing, Snow is not yet fully engaged with the rest of the forces. Jaedong is sending out massive amount of Hydras on the left side, and Jaedong doesn't have visibility on the lower corridor here. But there is gonna be a quick engagement in the middle of the map very soon. Zelot's gonna go ahead first, and looks like Jaedong is gonna retreat. He will need to fight now. Do not retreat anymore. He's facing a massive attack from the north side. He's gonna try to use his lurkers to support here, as well as trying to reinforce from the other side of the map. Looks like we're gonna be having a sandwich situation. The rest of the forces by Snow is not getting involved, and Snow is thinking that the enemy might be going for counter-attack, but it's not the case here. They're coming full force in the middle of the map. These are going to get trapped. Not enough Hydras. Where are these lurkers and Hydras coming? They will come from the other side of the map, and exactly as I mentioned to you, I think most of the storms have been exhausted. He was going to be able to cast one more storm, but not able to finish up the lurkers. The Dragoons have to retreat now towards the north side, and Snow is going to be losing all of the forces here. We're seeing nice engagement coming from Jaedong, and Snow trying to reinforce his position, but he doesn't have enough observers, and his army was obliterated, and now Jaedong is leading by 30 supply. This is a huge advantage for Jaedong. Can he close out the games now? He's going to try to attack against his third base. He's got a Hydra full of energy, and does Snow know about it. He's able to cast only one storm, not more. There's gonna be some Zealot reinforcement, with the first cannon has fallen, but reinforcement coming from the southern side, including 2 High Templar fresh from the High Templar factory. And indeed, he's able to cast several storms, touching those lurkers which have been damaged from before, so they will fall very quickly. The probes also getting very nice, hot and cozy with the Hydralisk here. At the last minute, I think this base might hold, but look at the reinforcement from the other side of the map. More Hydras coming out, and looks like what is Snow doing with his Corsairs? He doesn't need to get involved with his Corsairs. Just park them and use them for another engagement in the future. Looks like those lurkers have fallen, but there's gonna be Zerglings, Hydras, and that lurker on the left side need to kind of lift up and go a little bit closer towards the enemy. I believe we might have another storm coming up soon, but maybe not. We're seeing reinforcement coming from Snow. He finally casts a very much needed storm. Looks like that last lurker will be destroyed before the rest of the reinforcement coming from the Zerg player. The battle is very tense. More Hydras getting sniped, but more reinforcement coming from all sides by Jaedong here. If you can take out this base, the game is GG for sure. Very nice targeting fire of the Hydras to target the weak Dragoons, but now they're gonna be need to pull back. Both the players are trying to pull back here. I think for Snow, he need to make more Hydras and less of his Zealots and Dragoons. The Archon buying so much time, destroying that lurker as well as forces on the other side of the map, and now we need to move a little bit towards the right side to kind of buffer for the Dragoons here, and that Archon has fallen. The cannons cannot support quick enough here, and this is maybe a kind of if the battles get prolonged here, I think Snow is the one who's gonna pull ahead, because the Zerg is trading inefficiently in these battles. He's fighting uphill against static defenses and cannons, and some of the shots actually on the Nexus and assimilating later, not really on the units. And the entire top right is still held by Snow. At the last minute, Snow has held. He has held, but keep in mind the game is definitely not over. But in terms of number of bases, Snow's got the advantage. But we have another hatchery coming down by Jaedong at the end of 30. Looks like Zerg is attacking furiously. This Dark is buying a lot of time. We need to have a storm. He's waiting for it. He's got enough of cannons possibly to hold here, but reinforcement is looking very strong. Snow is also hesitant to trying to reinforce that area because his ground army is not that powerful yet. And we're going to be seeing double expansion coming from Jaedong. And finally, okay, this is Queen's Nest. No, excuse me, this is Defider's Mount because Queen's Nest already made and the Hive's already done. So that's good. Probe's going to get transferred possibly just towards the third base. You know, more hatcheries. I mean, we're looking at a 20-minute amount of game, but the game is far from over because both of the sides have strong defensive capabilities. Neither of the players have good enough, you know, infantry to penetrate those kind of static defenses. More lurkers getting morphed in the middle of the ground, and Snow needs to discover that his enemy has double expanded, and he needs to do something about it. Drone's gonna get transferred. How many bases do you have on this map, actually? I think each of you know, the side have 3 bases, right? 1, 2, 3. No, it's not 1, 2. Yeah, it's each of the bases each of the corners have 3 bases, and we have something in the center, which is kind of like you know, fastest map base. Anyways, drone's gonna transfer. The lurkers are nicely positioned, but Zealot's gonna try to take out all of those units. Nicely done, and more lurkers getting destroyed. We might have more storms. Zealots need to fall back here, morphing into Archon, but looks like the Hydras and reinforcement good enough. The Dragoon's gonna get trapped, and at the last minute, Snow is getting pushed back. He might cast one more storm just for the heck of it, and then he will have to retreat. I think he will cast one great storm, but we're gonna be having cut off from the southern side. We don't have observer. I guess we have one observer, but looks like all of those high tippers will get destroyed. I guess this is fine because what Snow is doing is trading. He is just trading. He comes up with even more forces and beautiful storm on those lurkers and reinforcement from the southern side. These armies getting static in the middle, not being used at all. They're waiting to cut off reinforcements. I guess it's fine, but during this time, Snow is trading well. And at the last split, I think Jaedong's decided enough's enough. I'm going to lift up those lurkers and try to finish up the army. But during this time, you know, it was very nice that Snow was able to pin down the entire Zerg army here, and no drone were allowed to mine these areas. He might even cast one last storm, and he does cast another great storm. But does he finish the lurkers? He finished 2 lurkers at once. Nicely done, an amazing trade for the Protoss player, even though Jaedong is still ahead in supply. One good thing though is that during this time, Jaedong takes another base at the 6 o'clock position, and Snow has got nothing to do about it. He is still busy out here with the rest of his forces, and I think Jaedong is going to be ahead here, but there's going to be a drop. I'm not so sure exactly what is it in the shadow, possibly some high tippers. He might need to see that. We have an overlord at sea, and yeah, once his base is discovered, for sure Snow will try to send some forces over there to try to take it out. And Jaedong is running out of minerals as well. Looks like the shuttle is gonna have to go somewhere. I'm not even sure why exactly he's decided to send a shuttle in the middle of the Zerg territory. Usually you want to kind of skid along the middle corner or something like that. And he's gonna try to come out, and he will cast some Great Storm. He would need to, you know, just unload everything because there's gonna be double Scourges to try to take care of that shuttle. Keep in mind that right now Snow has, what is it, just 4 bases. He has the potential to go up to the 5th one, but the Zerg is taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 versus 5 is already in favor of the Zerg race. You know, so what Snow needs to do is try to take out the 6 o'clock position. If he can stop the 6 o'clock position from going to the Zerg side, he wins. But it looks like Jaedong has got more supply. I'm not so sure about upgrades. We shall check that momentarily. But for now, I think the battle is in favor of Jaedong. Snow is trying to catch up in supply as well. He needs to, you know, because if he allows Zerg to take both the top and the southern areas, then he will need to fight for the middle area, which, as you know, is very hard to hold, especially with the fighter attack, Dark Swarm, and of course also Plague. And Snow has not opted to go for Reaver, so it's gonna be in some problems. There's gonna be a small attack here. Finally, the Zerg forces is gonna try to come down south and reinforce them. Cracklings are on the move, very strong. We might have a plague on those forces. For now, this base, is it allowed to live? I think it's looking fine. Nice storm though. He might cast another storm on those Hydras to clear them out. Very, very nice attack. But these last minute Dark Storm is able to, you know, really hold back the Protoss armies. And indeed, this base is not gonna get destroyed anytime soon. Or maybe it will get destroyed, but it will take a lot of forces. It will take an unstoppable force here from Snow Snow to really get it destroyed, and he's gonna try to come forward. His Dragoons are not nicely protected. He need to cast a lot of storm on those cities. He's running out of storms. And there's gonna be a lot of cracklings coming from the other side of the map, but good last minute storm. He needs to actually use that high, but it's got full energy for 2 storm. He needs to get everything on the high ground. He does cast 1 great storm. He might cast more to slow down the Zerg race, and indeed he's gonna be able to stop the Defiler gets sniped, and this base is gonna be held for a while here. So this base got taken, and during this time Jaedong has forgotten he can really counterattack at the 2 o'clock position, but he's not seeing the potential, whereas Protoss is moving forward towards the bottom left. That is going to force Jaedong to send the rest of the forces to defend this area, and that will leave this top right completely free. I think for the timing, we're not seeing it. We're going to be seeing some cannons getting set up here. And for the timing, I think Snow needs to also evacuate this area, because Snow doesn't know that Jaedong is moving the rest of the forces towards the top right as well. We might have a crazy base rate. 25th minute mark of the game. The game is still going on. Look at this huge Zerg army coming towards the side. If we had Reavers, it would be a different story, but we don't have Reavers. We just have High Templars, and High Templars are kind of hard to use, but one thing for sure is that they scale really well, and they virtually cost nothing. They cost nothing, man. I mean, High Templars are so cheap, they can get reused, and of course Archons are really powerful and buffy units. So we shall see what happens, but for the time being, it is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases for Protoss, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases for Zerg. There's going to be a small engagement in the middle map. Snow's plan is just to trade and just use his storms until the Zerg player run out of steam, and that's it. And try not to die in the process, because it's also very easy for Protoss to die to Zerg. Huge plague and surrounds, and all of those trickery that the Zerg player could do. We might have a plague coming up very soon. Good storm, but good pullback from Jaedong. What a nice fight, and of course this is a nice way to spend the time. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you do, let me kindly remind you that this game was released early for those who have supported me in the last few days. Their names are mentioned on screen: Mr. George, Mr. C. Goblin, as well as Daniel. Thanks a lot for your support. 179 supply for each of these players. Major battles, and it looks like Jaedong's decided to take the middle area. This is going to be a risky endeavor. Nice plague, 3 Archons plowing through the Hydralisk. Good attack here. The rest of Jaedong's forces actually not getting involved, but looks like Snow need to get more High Templars involved and not just ground units. He's gonna cast a great storm. Not bad. He need to cast 1 more. He's gonna try to do it, and he does cast and destroy that last Hydras, but there's gonna be more reinforcements, and it looks like Jaedong's forces always seems a lot more than Snow's forces for some reason. If you look at it, just on the number of yellowness versus the number of orangeness on the map, I mean, yellow just seems to overwhelm orange. But anyways, there's gonna be more attack, and that clump of Hydras is very prime target for Storm. He's not storming. He was storming a little bit late here. Those forces are going to get pushed back, but this hatchery has come online. Of course, this hatchery is very hard to get held for both of the side. But if Snow can just make sure that the Zerg player could not mine this area, as well as a 6 o'clock position, he will just win by war of attrition. But that's going to be very hard. Nice storm. We might have more storm in the middle of the map here. That Archon gets sniped right away. More attack from both sides here. 187 supply for both of the players. A temporary supply block for Jaedong. Nice army composition now for Snow. He's using his storm immaculately. Very nice trades. And Zerg is just, feeding forces into the Protoss guillotine here. Nice Defiler getting sniped as well. Jaedong is also fearful to commit too much, because if he commit too much and he eats a lot of storm, then he will lose the middle part for sure. And Protoss gonna have to pull back and use these kind of natural artifacts to cover for themselves. These cracklings are looking very strong. Not enough storm. We might have more storms to push them back, and indeed both the players having a temporarily stalemated. We're going to be having the extractor getting created in the middle of the battles. Some drones going to be mining some gas, and Jaedong's mineral count is actually not very high as well. Both the players will be vying for a lot of minerals, and it's going to be the moment now for Snow to come out and start to snipe those drones, because if some of those minerals get taken, then it's going to be very tricky. Where these Xenons are going exactly, they could not find any openings at all. These drones are going to get evacuated. Good storm that hit double lurkers, as well as some Zerglies in the process. Good trades here from Snow. If you can stop this base from mining, but also think about the 6 o'clock position, then that's going to be key here, because if he loses the 6 o'clock position to the Zerg race, meaning that if the Zerg race is allowed to mine that base, then for sure Snow is going to be losing. So we shall see what happens next. For now, we are seeing a drone getting created, and Jaedong is once again trying to take that base. I think it's gonna be the moment now for Snow to send everything he's got from the top right. I think he's possibly got a few high templates remaining. He needs to send them all towards this southern area, or rather the central areas, to use them for the battles. Don't keep anyone in any bases anymore, because now the situation is very, very dire. We're storming once again, but this middle area is now controlled by Jaedong. Not firmly, not a full control of that area, but just a slight control. And it's gonna be very, very tough for Snow to try to bust it. He needs to kind of really maneuver outside of this Dark Swarm. It's just really covering the Zerg units very well. It's going to be more Storm to destroy the rest of the forces. The number of Archons is, of course, very, very high. We need to have still more, though. And yeah, Snow is also kind of running out of steam. He's also trying to get more forces over. There is going to be another Hydra getting sniped here, but good dodge by both of the players, and Snow's decided, I will let you take the middle area for now. I will try to snipe this base, although this base is not yet up. This base is still under construction, but some Archons coming through and sniping some forces, so not bad. So this hatchery just get cancelled. That is fine. I think basically Jaedong did not lose anything in the process, but Snow lost some forces trying to bust that high ground. Now he will come back towards this middle area, but those drones have been mining for a while, and keep in mind that that base mines very fast. It's a fastest map. It mines so insanely fast. So controlling it, if you can control it, it will be a nice way for Jaedong to really keep ahead here. But for now, Snow is still slightly ahead. He needs to really cast more storms, and he's casting his own zealots under the storm, and that's not really what he wants to have. It looks like the Zerg is running out of forces. Possibly no, the reinforcement line is deep. The reinforcement line is very deep. Okay, that is a great storm, but I don't know if it would change anything. Another great storm here that forces Jaedong to straight in efficiently, but I'm not so sure if it's enough to do anything about the situation. Yeah, I think Jaedong, excuse me, Snow need to send everyone to the battle now, to the battle stations. There's going to be more attack happening, and once again, there's going to be an attempt by Snow to come from the top side. He breaches the top area, not bad. Zealot is within reach of this base now. He clears everything in the Dark Swarm, including several lurkers, and he's going to try to come out, and this area is not yet covered by Dark Swarm. Zerglings are trying to get under the Dark Swarm here. There's going to be a great storm that hits some Zerglings in the process, but they're not lurkers in those areas. There's going to be 5 or 6 lurkers in these areas, and then the Defiler gets sniped. There's going to be a beautiful storm that hits several drones. These lurkers are going to try to redeploy themselves a little bit towards the western side, and Dragoons are doing good damage. But where's the reinforcement from Snow? Snow is leading by 40 supply now, but his hold is very whimsy. There's going to be a small attack, and Snow needs to retreat as he casts the storm. He is not able to see exactly which height it is. Are those Reavers in the shadow? I'm not so sure exactly why he has a shadow. Possibly for drop, but maybe most likely it's going to be for Reavers. And there's going to be some small attack here that is trading very well, and Jaedong is also running out of, I think, supply. 128 supply for Jaedong and Snow 166, but it's not the end of the battles. Jaedong will muster a lot more forces because he's got a much stronger economy. His 6 o'clock base will come up soon too. Let's see if Snow is able to stop it. He plows through, and I think this base is in breach of getting destroyed here, but the number of forces for Snow is slowing down. And why is this shadow once again just flying in the middle of nothing here? That was a mistake. That was a definite mistake, and this hatchery in the 6 o'clock position is online now. Some drones are mining for it, and Snow is not sending any Zealot to take it out. And like I tell you, he's keeping some of the forces at home. We need to send everyone to the battle stations. He clears up some more Zerglings in the middle area, but the number of mineral intake is a lot higher from Jaedong now. Looks like Snow has decided, I'm gonna send the rest of my forces towards the southern side. And try to storm any kind of reinforcement units, which is going to be a nice idea. These Archons are very beefy. Nice storm once again, and he will clear out this bottom base. Jaedong was allowed to mine it just a little bit from it, but not much. But he is mining the center area. Keep that in mind. So that is going to be quite important as well. Let's see who is going to be able to fight more here. Drones finally getting trusted. Both the players are going to be mining out of minerals very soon, especially Snow, I would say. He comes through though. These drones are going to be able to mine. He needs to cast a storm on all of those drones. He comes through, and it looks like Jaedong is running out of steam. There's going to be a nice Dark Swarm, but all of those drones are going to get destroyed. We might have more Dark Swarm on the north side. Not enough to cover, and these lurkers have fallen fast. And Snow 174 supply. Jaedong 129. Snow is gonna be able to do it. If he can destroy this base right now, it's gonna be the end of the battles here because no more mining activities from Jaedong, and Patience have persevered. Patience has been rewarded with a nice juicy results here for Snow, I believe. Looks like Jaedong is gonna come through. He's trying very hard to stop because Snow is also gonna be running out of minerals. If you look at the current situation, and Snow's got 1,000 minerals, just slightly more than Jaedong, so he can maybe possibly survive just a little bit more if he keeps on the current balances. But anyways, there's gonna be even more attack, and in the last minute, Snow need to make more high temperatures. He's got an overwhelming number of Archons. He clears out the last of the Hydras, and looks like Jaedong is not retreating these areas. Snow 900 supply, 900 minerals, excuse me, Jaedong 200, and now it is gonna be just one single mining base for Snow. As for Jaedong, he's still got a little bit of mining potential. This middle area has got no lurkers, so these drones gonna get completely destroyed, and this is the fast mining areas. Remember that this base mines a lot more efficiently than the others. 5 lurkers deploy themselves on the southern side, but there's no support troops, and they will get stormed to death. 2 lurkers have fallen already, but there's still 3 more lurkers at the end, and Snow is trying to reinforce from the other side. Do we have some distance mining from these players? No, it is going to be GG from Jaedong. If you enjoyed this guys, buy me coffee, that is going to be in the video soon. Bye bye.